Yes, on January the 12th, 21, we are removing the artwork from the public domain. As an artist, I have not tried to illustrate what these times are like, but more so channel into an artwork something that has its own life. I think more than answering how does Stabat Metric sit with the current situation, I feel it is more interesting, for me of course, to reflect if Stabat Metric would have had the same tone without the COVID background. As much as it's a work that has taken physical shape in response to the pandemic call by Arts Council Malta, its roots started forming prior to its both collaborative dialogue and interest to deconstruct a musical piece in this manner. Also, in as much as the pandemic seems to be a direct repercussion of debatable human actions, I feel this work, Stabat Metric, engages more with the state of being, rather than a mere reflection of what has happened and how we are coping with it, generally speaking.
I think the Stabat Metric project is still relatable because Stabat Metric was made to reflect a play on, like a child's play, on the effect of reversing life. And I believe somehow we tend to wish to go back to the life we had pre-COVID. However, will never be the same, of course, because now we have the knowledge of this pandemic and the health issues. However, Stabat Metric stands on its own in this play with a reversal of void or a stoppage in our mundane daily life. Well, yes, I think my view completely changed or is a bit altered because when we did the project, we were naively thinking that this was going to be a pandemic of 2-3 months. However, this is not the case. There's talk that this is going to go over next summer, but so in a way, I think when we were doing Stabat Metric, we had this excitement of the beginning of a project when everything else stopped. And I think now I have to, if I have to do Stabat Metric again, I would rethink and actually make it evolve. Although there's no need for evolving in its context, but maybe I would do it slightly different.
My view of the work, I must say, I was hoping that by now COVID would have formed part of history, mostly because a lot of people had tragic repercussions from this. I also hope that collectively we would learn something from this, something that we have humanely lost, long before social distancing and bubbles became kind of second nature to our vocabulary and way of life. In this context, this work keeps changing. I mean, in itself, it is not a static piece, so it lends itself beautifully to the listener now, and also whenever this will be heard after it is uttered or listened to. For me, the best part of this project was the strengthening of an already initiated dialogue with Claire. Also, I mean, working in a different medium, music, for me is not something common medium that I work in, while reconnecting with the Maltese audience were kind of highlights in this journey. I'm always kind of attentive to an audience engagement and development, but also maintenance. I see these three very important. While mentioning this tree, I think this is the legacy that I strive to assess and engender. I mean, in itself, the project, Stabat Metric, will exist in a new form after January the 12th in a 3-video channel installation. But perhaps reaching and engaging new public will be the core of the reflection of what could I have developed better in this project and how I can carry that in future projects.
I think as an artist it made me understand the concept of time and space more, because when we get to work on a project in the theatre or in a concert, there is always this rush. However, this pandemic made everyone almost go inward and also search in his, let's say, parameters, in his surroundings. While before we always used to think, abroad or further away from where I am. And this pandemic made everyone almost closer together, obviously with 2 meters apart, but closer together. That's a joke, of course. Even though me and Joe were still talking even before the pandemic, there is a more almost gripping to the Maltese side or the Gozitan side of him and the Maltese side in me to do something about the situation that is global.
We would like to thank Arts Council Malta and gave us a voice and a platform and a possibility to work together.
I would also love to thank Kenshik Luna for trying to understand what me and Joseph drew to convey, because it was not easy to explain to people. And also I would love to thank Father Norman Zamid for the parish of Budia. He also gave us the very quiet space to record, so I'd love to thank him.